Good morning. So it is the next day after I shot the last video, which in theory is going up tomorrow for context of time frame. I wanted to jump in and do another playthrough on LaGuardia. I've got a bit more of my setup in place now that I've had a chance to get it going. So I've got a proper ground map on the side. It shows that it's basically those vertical taxiways. Let me zoom in on the screen here. So it goes... let's see where it stops telling me. Juliet. Juliet is where it basically starts, but before Juliet, it's Hotel, Juliet, Kilo, Lima, then Mike, then November, then Victor, then Zulu. So Mike and November and Kilo. So those will be very useful if I need to pulling off of the airport. So that's the first call out on that. The other comment that I had, whoops, gotta find my right screen. I had a comment on a video, not the last one I did, but I believe it was the one prior where I first started playing at LGA. And it was asking why I was only utilizing runway 4 for all of the activity when there are 2 perfectly good runways at the airport, and this is correct. The reason that I, in this instance, was only using runway 4 was because of this METAR information. At the time, the wind direction was coming from basically 220, well, coming from 04, essentially, from the north. So it was, if you think of a 360 degree, for me it's to the right, so for you I'll try to go to the left. So this is 360 degrees to the north. So if the wind is coming out of direction 000, then the wind's from the north, and you're going to land on runway 36. And you're going to take off on runway 36. If you have a slight deviation on that, it's not going to be the end of the world for a slight crosswind. However, in my case, again, runway 04 points towards 04, and the wind was coming straight from 04. Now at this airport, the runways are basically perpendicular. Yeah, perpendicular. For some reason I thought I was saying parallel. They're perpendicular. So that would be a full-on 100% side crosswind, which would make the pilots have to do a lot of crabbing, which can make taking off and landing a bit rough. The difference being that that day the wind was, I believe, about 8 knots. So they probably would have done it. As you can see today, though, again, I'm using the METAR, and I'll show a much easier to read METAR if you don't understand how to decipher all of this. You've got basically the direction of the wind, the gusting speed, the consistent speed. If you can't read that, here's a picture of what the METAR that I'm typically looking at shows, which is a little more helpful for me. So you can see that today the winds are basically blowing straight down runway 13, and that's where the traffic's going to come in. So I am currently only operating runway 13. It is very unlikely that with a 26 knot headwind and a 33 knot gust, or whichever one it is, they're going to be doing a cross landing, because that is a ridiculous, well, not necessarily ridiculous, but that is a very rough amount of wind to try and cross land on such a tight airport. So that was my second call out. So the first thing I did when I got in this game to play this session was I set up my second monitor, and in doing so, I remembered, I think I talked briefly about it very early on in the game when I was going through the UI, and for some reason I just blitzed out and forgot about it. But down here, if you click 3D radars, it basically turns off the tower, so you kind of are sitting up here on top like I configured myself to be, which is very much like Tower 3D, the prior game, which is much more simplistic. And then you can see down here you have all these other windows. So I can put up my command window. I've got my dbright and my ADIRS and my strips. So in theory, if I could size everything correctly, I could set this up to operate very much like the old game. I think ground radar was on the bottom. Yeah. So I could, in theory, set all this up to work like this. I don't really need a big air radar, since unfortunately this isn't full ATC, just Tower 3D. So I'll give myself a little bit of extra there. But you can see how you can basically configure this to be very much like the old game, which means that I could then pan around my main window here and have a nice look. Now, because the strips are handled very differently in this game, the strips might not work very well in that particular setup, so it's probably going to be better to have a wider run like this, which does mean that my view window is small, but you can see it's still viable. It is still very usable to configure it this way. It's just not quite as realistic, but this makes it a little more functional, if I could redo the controls, for me to set this up and play and do things the way that I was used to doing it with a little more comfort on YouTube. Does mean that I get a small map and all that stuff, but hey, it's possible. And then I can go back to the 3D radars. Unfortunately, it kind of stuffs my camera back where I had it, but then if I take off 3D radars, you see I'm right back to where I was. So this is an interesting alternative that I might explore in the future, depending on how the intended plan of today's video goes. So the intended plan of what I'm doing today is to focus it on here. I'm going to keep this screen predominantly, well, if I unzoom it, focused on my strips. My right monitor here, I've got my proper ground radar map. I may not need that as much because, again, the new game does allow me to see things better, but we'll see how that goes. And with that, I'll try to get it to switch over automatically. This is my left monitor. It's taking up all but about a centimeter of my screen so that I can get to Eli Grimm's call sign tool in case I need it. But otherwise, this is my setup. Now, the way it's not really thread affinity, but the way this works is I can click on this screen here. I don't have a plane. Let me unpause it for a second, see if I can get a plane to show up. Let's go back to 1x and back to the side. So I am playing 7 a.m. and I can click on this one, and in theory I should be able to animate this with doing whatever I want, and it won't cause a single problem. You can see my deep right sticking up on top. The only way it changes is if I click on the window and move it, at which point it becomes the dominant window, and then I can just move the other one. So if I set it up like this, there's nothing on the north side of the airport there, so I can keep that empty. Sure, a plane coming down and landing, the tag will go off, but they're going to exit on one of these two high-speed exits anyway, in which case the tag will pop in, or I can simply move the tag to get out of the way. So I think this will, to start with, be the way I'm going to play it, and that's what I'm going to run with. So I don't know how busy 7 a.m. is. Honestly, I didn't look at the schedule, but it's LaGuardia. So let's jump ahead and see how it looks. Brickyard 5669er, pushback approved. Expect runway 13.
Tailwind is too high. Takeoff delayed. Brickyard 5669er.
LaGuardia ground. Brickyard 4553 with information echo. Requesting push and start.
Brickyard 5669er, pushback approved. Expect runway 31.
Ground 31. Pushback approved. Brickyard 5669er.
Endeavour 5302, contact departure.
Roger. Good morning.
Runway 31. Line up and wait behind next landing aircraft. American 519er.
LaGuardia ground. Brickyard 5780 ready to taxi.
Delta 2454, hold position.
Hold position. Delta 2454.
American 519er, runway 31, line up and wait.
Runway 31. Line up and wait. American 519er.
Spirit Wings 3170, hold position.
Hold position. Spirit Wings 3170.
Delta 2454, continue taxi.
Continue taxi. 2454.
Brickyard 5780, continue taxi.
Continue taxi. Brickyard 5780.
American 2150, taxi to apron.
Taxi to apron. American 2150.
American 519er, runway 31, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 31, cleared for takeoff. American 519er.
Delta 2454, runway 31, line up and wait.
Runway 31, line up and wait. Delta 2454.
Endeavor 5399er, runway 31, cleared to land. Delta 2454, hold position.
Runway 31, cleared to land. Endeavour 5399er.
Hold position. Delta 2454.
LaGuardia Tower. Endeavour 5302 on final 31.
American 519er, contact departure.
Roger. Good morning.
Delta 2454, runway 31, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 31, cleared for takeoff. Delta 2454.
Endeavor 5369er, enter final, runway 31.
LaGuardia ground. United 1599er with information hotel. Requesting push and start.
United 1599er, pushback approved, expect runway 31.
Ground 31, pushback approved. United 1599er.
Brickyard 5832, continue taxi.
Continue taxi. Brickyard 5832.
Endeavor 5399er, contact departure.
Negative. Endeavour 5399er. LaGuardia Tower. Endeavour 5369er on final 31.
Endeavor 5369er, runway 31, cleared to land.
Runway 31, cleared to land. Endeavour 5369er.
Endeavor 5399er, contact departure.
Negative. Endeavour 5399er.
LaGuardia ground. Delta 1370 with information hotel. Requesting push and start.
Delta 2454, contact departure.
Roger, good morning.
Brickyard 5780, runway 31, cleared for takeoff. Cutting it close.
Runway 31, cleared for takeoff. Brickyard 5780.
Spirit Wings 3170, continue taxi.
Continue taxi. Spirit Wings 3170.
LaGuardia ground. United 1599er ready to taxi.
LaGuardia ground. American 2125 with information hotel. Requesting push and start.
Endeavor 5302, runway 31, cleared to land.
Runway 31, cleared to land. Endeavour 5302.
United 1599er, runway 31, via Bravo.
Runway 31 via Bravo. United 1599er.
Delta 1370, pushback approved, expect runway 31.
Ground 31, pushback approved. Delta 1370.
American 2125, pushback approved, expect runway 30.
Ground 31. Pushback approved. American 2125.
LaGuardia Tower. Brickyard 5857 on final 31.
Brickyard 5857, runway 31, cleared to land.
Runway 31, cleared to land. Brickyard 5857.
I cut that way too close. Brickyard 5780, contact departure.
Roger. Good morning.
Wow, there is no time for me to line these suckers up. I'm gonna have to get much
LaGuardia
better.
ground, Endeavor 5077 with information hotel. Requesting push and start.
Endeavor 5077, pushback approved. Expect runway 31.
Ground 31. Pushback approved. Endeavor 5077.
I think everybody's gonna have to taxi on
American
now.
1530 with information hotel. Requesting push and start.
American 1530, pushback approved. Expect runway 31.
Ground 31. Pushback approved. American 1530.
Endeavor 5302, taxi to apron via Alpha.
Taxi to apron via Alpha. Endeavor 5302.
LaGuardia ground. Delta 1370 ready to taxi.
Delta 1370, continue taxi. Need to reorder my flights here,
Continue
but
taxi. Delta 1370.
LaGuardia ground, American 2125 ready to taxi.
American 2125, runway 31 via Alpha. Okay, I need you to
Runway 31 via
speak
Alpha.
faster.
American 2125.
Spirit Wings 3170, runway 31, line up and wait. This is going to be so
Runway
unbelievably
31.
close.
Line up and wait. Spirit Wings 3170.
United shouldn't have gone that way.
LaGuardia Tower. JetBlue 231 on final 31.
JetBlue 231, runway 31, cleared to land.
Runway 31. Cleared to land. JetBlue 231.
LaGuardia ground, Endeavor 5077 ready to taxi.
Endeavor 5077, continue taxi.
Continue taxi. Endeavor
Come on,
5077.
get off the runway. Endeavor 5369er, taxi to apron via Alpha.
Taxi to apron via Alpha. Endeavor 5369er.
Endeavor 5369er, hold short of taxiway November.
Hold short of taxiway November. Endeavor 5369er.
Spirit Wings 3170, runway 31, cleared for takeoff. Shaking and
Runway
baking.
31. Cleared for takeoff. Spirit Wings 3170.
We have ourselves a cluster.
LaGuardia ground, Southwest 40902 with information hotel. Requesting push and start.
Well, Southwest, you can go in a minute. I'm going to
LaGuardia ground.
keep you there.
American
There we go.
1530 ready to taxi.
American 1530, continue taxi. Okay, good. Perfect,
Continue
just in
taxi.
time.
American 1530.
Okay,
LaGuardia
okay.
Tower. American 607 on final 31.
Don't care about you. I need this United guy to
LaGuardia
line up.
ground. Endeavor 5476 with information hotel. Requesting push and start.
Shut up. United 1599er, runway 31, line up and wait. Okay.
Runway 31, line up and wait. United 1599.
American 607, runway 31, cleared to land.
Runway 31, cleared to land. American 607.
Spirit Wings 3170, contact departure.
Roger. Good morning.
Okay, come on, where are you going? Brickyard 5857, taxi to apron via Alpha.
Taxi to apron via Alpha. Brickyard 5857.
Okay. United 1599er, runway 31, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 31.
Don't mind
cleared
the
for
wake
takeoff.
turbulence.
United 1599.
It's not a bad Australian accent. Okay. I don't know if JetBlue's called in.
LaGuardia
Endeavor
ground.
screwed.
JetBlue to 909er with information hotel. Requesting push and start.
Endeavor 5476, pushback approved. Expect runway 31.
Ground 31, pushback approved. 476.
Southwest 409er2, pushback approved. Expect runway 31.
Ground 3-1, pushback approved. Southwest 409er2.
Okay. It's gonna get messy. United 159er9er, contact departure.
Roger. Good morning.
Okay, there's JetBlue. Delta 1370, runway 31, line up and wait. Get there.
Runway 31, line up and wait. Delta 1370.
LaGuardia Tower, American 2262 on final 3-1.
American 2262, runway 31, clear to land.
Runway 31, clear to land. American
I
2262.
gotta get this Endeavor. Oh, 5476. They didn't call in yet, did they? I don't have them on my list, so that's a good thing. Guess that gives me a chance to get all these stinking planes out.
LaGuardia Ground, Endeavour 5446
No.
with
There you are.
Information Hotel. Requesting push and start.
Delta 1370, runway 31, cleared for takeoff. You need to go.
Runway 31,
JetBlue's
clear for
good.
takeoff. Delta 1370.
JetBlue 231, taxi to apron via Alpha. Okay, go.
Taxi to ramp via Alpha. JetBlue 231.
That's perfectly
LaGuardia Ground,
fine.
Endeavour 5476 ready to taxi.
Endeavor 5476, continue taxi. Okay, you need to hold your position to get
Taxi.
Endeavor out.
Endeavour 5476.
Perfect.
LaGuardia Ground. Southwest 409er2 ready to taxi.
Southwest 409er2, continue taxi.
Continue
That plane's
taxi.
gonna come in.
Southwest 409er2.
Endeavor 5369er, hold position. Okay, I'm just gonna stop you there.
Hold position. Endeavor 5369.
JetBlue 299er, pushback approved, expect runway 31. Okay, get you in.
Ground 31. Pushback approved. JetBlue 299er.
Delta 1370, contact departure.
Roger, good morning.
LaGuardia Tower,
No.
4565 on final 3-1.
Endeavor 5077, runway 31, line up and wait. Okay, good, you're getting ahead of the game.
Runway 31, line up and wait. Endeavour
Gotta get a
5077.
couple more planes out. Brickyard 4565, runway 31, cleared to land.
Runway 31, clear to land. Brickyard 4565.
Okay. Good. Where's American going? American 607, taxi to apron via Bravo 1. That doesn't sound
Taxi
right.
to apron via Bravo 1. American 607.
That's confusing. There's two Bravo taxiways. That's stupid.
LaGuardia Ground, Brickyard 5756 with Information Hotel. Requesting push and start.
Nope, you can't go anywhere. Endeavor 5077, runway 31, cleared for takeoff.
LaGuardia Ground. JetBlue 299er ready. to
Endeavor
taxi.
5077, runway 31, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 31, clear for takeoff.
Shoot, I'm
Endeavour
gonna have a problem on
5077.
this one. I thought I gave him clearance. I waited too long because I was trying to figure out American, and then I either misspoke or something because he didn't start moving. This is not gonna work. I should wave off American, give them a go around. American, well, shoot. I need to go up and look. There they are coming in. American 2262, go around.
Go around. American 2262.
Yeah. American 2262, contact departure.
Roger, good morning.
LaGuardia Tower, Delta 1630 on final 3-1.
Alright, so who's on the ground still? There's JetBlue, okay, you're out. American 607, you're out. You, I just gave the go around. You two are waiting. You're there. Endeavor 5077, contact departure. Get rid of you.
Roger. Good morning.
JetBlue 299er, runway 31 via Alpha.
Runway 31 via Alpha. JetBlue 299er.
That really screwed me. If I hadn't been delayed, you gotta be perfect or you're gonna get screwed up. And I am not perfect. As much as I'd like to be. Come on, I need Brickyard on the ground so I can get American out, then I can get Endeavor so I can get American out, so I can get my 2 planes parked, so I can get my other 2 planes out. I am going to... Can't seem to remember my screen order. I'm going to shut down the arrivals. I'm not going to take any more departures outside of those 2 that are waiting. And that will be that. Okay, let's get ready for the lineup.
Southwest 549er,
Nope.
5 with information and requesting push and start.
Nope, nope, nope. Sorry. Okay, come on, get on deck. American 2125, runway 31, line up and wait. Get up there.
Runway 31. Line up and wait. American 2125.
Lake Guardian Tower, Endeavour 4779 on final 31.
Delta 1630, runway 31, cleared to land.
Runway 31, cleared to land. Delta 1630.
You. Please don't forget to. Yeah, it's because. Whatever. Brickyard 4565, taxi to apron via Alpha.
Taxi to apron via
Cluster.
Alpha.
I gotta find a better
Brickyard
way to get in and out of there.
4565.
That's terrible. American 2125, runway 31, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 31. Cleared for takeoff. American 2125.
Endeavor 5369, or continue taxi. It's at
Continue
least
taxi.
everybody out
Endeavor
now.
5369er.
Okay. American is good. Endeavor gets on, and then those 2 will park, and then I can push those. Brickyard 4565, hold short of taxiway November. That'll be fine.
Held short of taxiway November. Brickyard 4565.
Nope. Whoever you are, nope.
LaGuardia Ground, Southwest 1890 with information India. Requesting push and start.
Sorry. American 2125, contact departure.
Roger. Good morning.
Endeavor 5476, runway 31, line up and wait. Okay,
Runway
that's
31,
everybody
line up and wait.
parking.
Endeavour 5476.
See, this is why I should have my departures routing out on Bravo, but the problem is I need to get more efficient at holding my traffic so that I can use, like if they come out here on taxiway 9, excuse me, I'm yawning again, they can cross over, or I have to physically tell them to come down and go at Mike. So that's what I really need to learn the airport for to be able to do. Delta 1630, taxi to apron via Alpha. Stupid.
Taxi to apron via Alpha. Delta 1630.
Endeavor 5476, runway 31, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 31.
I'm not going to get
cleared
you
for
in.
takeoff.
And
Endeavour
you.
5476.
5857, your bend. Endeavor, your bend. Americans done.
LaGuardia Ground radio check. How do you read? Endeavour 5446.
Endeavor 5446, read you 1 by 5. Endeavor 5446, read you 1 by 5. Endeavor Endeavor 5446, read you 5 by 5. Whatever. Everybody's barking and happy. Endeavor 5446, pushback approved, expect runway 31. We'll just do it this way then.
Ground 3-1, pushback approved. Endeavour 5446.
Yeah, no. You down. Endeavor 5476, contact departure.
Roger, good morning.
Been you, because you're not going to come back in. 4479er.
Going around Endeavour 4779er.
Thought I gave you clearance. Oh, you're the one that I binned earlier. Endeavor 4779er, contact departure. That's why. All right, so I'm going to pause this train wreck.
Ground, JetBlue 1861 with information India, requesting push and start.
New. All right, so I'm going to use the side map. I don't think I'm going to be able to play and do YouTube this way just because I spend a lot of my time on one single screen. So if I spend all my time on the left monitor predominantly, then that's not so bad. You get to view the 2 radar maps, which is fine, but you just get to stare at the radar, which isn't really that interesting, whereas having the screen or something is a little more interesting and you can see some more of what's happening. All the strips on my second monitor, I don't necessarily need to click on them all the time to move things around. So I click on it once, my screen probably flashes to it, and then it flashes off of it, and you probably get seasick. We'll see what happens when I view the recording, but I made 2 errors. One, I did call out that I'm a bit tired up front, and when I said that the wind direction was coming straight down runway 13, I instead set my airport to, oops, this one, land on runway 13 instead of runway 31, which is what would have pointed at the wind. So I was backwards on that. Anybody who saw the METAR would laugh at me, and it even says it right there, its direction is 300, so I should be pointing 300. Anyway, that's one error. Jeez, I cannot get my system right. Now the other one was my taxi. If you've seen any of my Tower 3D video series, then you'll know I typically like to get a good flow of counter directions between the 2 taxiways, which is normal. Typically, the inner taxiways would help planes get to the aprons, and the outer taxiways would get them to the runways. I did not play that this way, and that did bite me in the butt, which is why I had arrivals and departures clogging up the same taxiway. All these departures, save the ones coming out of here, which unfortunately was the bulk of them, should have slotted up onto Bravo. So in these, zoom in the wrong screen. So in those cases, all these planes down here, this was my jam because everybody was coming down this end on Zulu to come out to runway 31, and they need the full runway for takeoff. I may be able to use this one here, but I don't know. Excuse me, I'm back to yawning nonstop. Yeah, it doesn't tell me. So I'd have to use my ground map to figure out which one that is, which is fine. It's just another annoyance. But what I should have done was taxi them up Victor over Bravo and then out. The more planes that I can stack in that area, then the less congested Alpha gets and the more arrivals can just flow straight into their gates. And I may have to pause them for a little bit so that, say, the American plane here that pulled out on taxiway 9er and then went up Lima and over Bravo, that was correct. They chose the correct routing in that. And that would have been better. I just would have had to hold anybody coming in up here on Kilo, or even short of Lima, so that they don't cross paths and get stuck. So it's just more ground mapping that I need to get used to. Again, when I first started playing LAX again, or even any of my old tower videos, sometimes you need to get used to an airport before you can become proficient. And I am not proficient at this airport. I'm much better at LAX. I have better workflows because I've played those before. I've never played this airport until Simulator 3. My other error was kind of here with the strips. Now, I did have some planes that I had in the system approaching runway 13. One of them I sent off to departure to let it come back in. And when it did, the problem was the strip didn't come back, which, of course, why would it? So I should have, dumped the strip back into pending and just left it there. And then when it popped back up, I could have grabbed it again and I could have used it properly. Instead, just like that, excuse me, last Endeavor flight, the strip was gone, so there was nothing I could do to see it coming in, and that's why it executed a go-around. So I probably got a couple errors on that front. But again, that's just handling, and that's learning the workflow of this game and proper operations versus kind of the pseudo Tower 3D. So I think what I'm going to do next time is I'm going to play from this screen, except what I'm going to do predominantly for you is probably shrink my strips down more. You'll be able to see some of what I'm doing, bringing them in and out, and then I'm going to have to do something. Oops, that's not cool. Here, my commands, I don't think I really need to have my commands as big as I currently do. For me, it's more important to have reasonable view on my radars, and I don't really need the send command. I just typically like to know that my command is actually going somewhere. So I don't know, maybe something along the lines of this. If I could get a good balanced size on those two, then maybe I could consent to having them both on one screen here. Maybe something like that. I don't know, we'll just have to play with it a little bit and see how it goes, but at least that way I can use the camera, monitor some aspects of the airport, because again, that just makes it more visually entertaining, and it gives you something to actually look at instead of just staring at a radar screen. So I think that would be a good addition. So anyway, hope you found that interesting. Let's back out and see how poorly I did on that session. I think pretty poorly. Fatal errors 3. I don't. 1, 2. I failed to clear. I did give the one go around. I'm trying to remember what the other fail was. Maybe I had 3 that ended up having to go around. Anyway, not great. I'm doing terrible, but it's pretty on par with the last tower game. So anyway, we'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.